in my opinion, Visa is one of the big three credit card players, right? You got Visa, you got MasterCard, you got American Express. Those are the three I like the most. They have phenomenal performance, certainly over the last 5 to 10 years. American Express has done better over the last five, but if you look over the last 10, Visa and MasterCard have just absolutely won it, right? They've just done phenomenal. So we can see 5-year performance, 72%. That's not terrible. Slightly below S&P 500 performance, even when you factor in the dividend. However, if we go back to early 2015, 376%. That is way outperforming the S&P 500, and this is a really, really successful company and a really successful stock, along with MasterCard. It's very similar chart to MasterCard. American Express I like a lot, although it's a bit different. The performance over the last 5 years has been great. 10 years, it's a little bit more tame, but it's also the cheapest of the three. We can see Visa, PE ratio of 31. It's cheaper than MasterCard, but it's still not quite as cheap as American Express in terms of PE, that is, right? The Visa and MasterCard have a little bit longer track history of being good, right? So that factors into it. But I really, really, really like these three companies. I own Visa and I own American Express and I will own MasterCard sometime in the hopefully near future. They are just absolute juggernauts. I mean, look, the chart doesn't really have any major value. I mean, you see some in COVID, but obviously everyone got hit in COVID. And you see a little bit when hype was at its peak in 2021, but these are just, if you look at the earnings, I mean, we're gonna do that a bit here, right? I don't always do this, but when you look at this revenue growth, it's so consistent. It's so consistent. And you can find it with at least Visa. I mean, probably going back, like I said, over the decade for Visa and MasterCard, just consistent. American Express is the same way, certainly over the last five. These credit card companies are so consistent, right? Because they take that fee whenever you purchase something, they take that fee, and they just have a stranglehold on the market. They just do. It's just so lucrative. Do you think Americans are going to be using more or less credit cards in the future, right? I mean, there's always some things you can derive from stocks. You can derive, oh, this thing's undervalued. Oh, that's overvalued. Like, you can do that. But the safest bet, in my opinion, is it's actually comes in the core of the business, right? For example, I'm a tech guy, so TSM, ASML, they basically have monopolies, right? Visa does have currently, I think it's a DOJ investigation for monopolistic practices when it comes to debit cards because they have 60% of the market. Yeah, that could hurt the company in the short term. The long term, it should be fine. They may get fined, but long term, it's not going to really affect it too much, right? But when you look at the core of a business, like with ASML and TSM, they have basically monopolies on one of the most important markets in the world, which is semiconductors, right? All of NVIDIA flows through TSM and all of TSM flows through ASML, right? That's just reality. So when you look at the underlying of the business, Visa and MasterCard certainly, and I would argue American Express as well, have a iron fist on the market. And the market is credit cards, and do you think people are going to be using less credit cards in the future? Absolutely. Maybe 100 years. I don't know. But in 20 years, no way, Jose, dude. All of it is just going to be being used more and more and more. So that's where you find the safety in this, right? And you can see that in the consistency of revenue growth and profit growth. It's just crazy. So, yeah, it doesn't pay a great dividend. Who really cares? The PE, 27. I don't know why the PE is not there. I think that's a glitch because clearly they're making a profit, but it doesn't really affect me too much. Schwab loves it. They have it as a top 10% performing stock over the next, I believe it's a year performance outlook. So that's very good. Even the 50th percentile of those stocks do okay. So top 10%, they think it's going to do well. Me personally, I cannot predict the future. I don't know where a stock's going to be in 1, 2, or 3 years even, but I try and aim for a long-term outlook. And I can say, okay, this company very likely going to be worth more in 5 to 10 years. But certainly 10 years is too far. Usually a 5-year outlook's fairly reasonable. Long, buy, good ESG score. Honestly, 3 to 5 years is probably more, but there's weird things where over a 3-year period, things can be a little bit wonky. Let's take a look at where the PE has been. Yeah, I mean, we see the normal PE bouncing right between 31 and a half, 32 to 29. And the forward PE is a little bit more up and down. You see it's 27 right now. It was 23 earlier, but somewhere in that 28 to 23 and a half range. So this isn't crazily overvalued historically, at least over the last year and a half, right? So I don't really see any major concerns with Visa, right? Other than recession, people spend less, right? That basically is every industry summed up. So not just credit cards. Everyone is saying buy. All the analysts, at least 35 to 39. The other 5 are saying hold. Although I've mentioned this many times on this channel, I think analysts are a bit overrated. You factor into the broader picture, right? But it's not the end all be all. So anyways, I like Visa. I own Visa. I plan to own Visa. I plan to own more of Visa probably pretty soon. And I like the big 3: American Express, MasterCard, and Visa. They're all just good companies. They're just so consistent. Are you gonna 3x in a year? No, that's impossible. You can with some of the tech stocks, and I like those too. But it's just consistent deriving of profit, right? And I love that. So anyways, I appreciate if you watch this video. It helps the channel out, even just watching it. But I appreciate if you left a like, because engagement helps the video and the channel out as well. If you're new here, I do all sorts of stocks on this channel daily. I would appreciate if you left a few subscribed. But anyways, I appreciate all of you for watching this video, and I'll catch you next time.